Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
Hey guys, welcome in and happy Cyber Monday. Gosh, geez, that means December is just around the corner, which means college basketball and a ton of it coming your way, including a couple of games here today. We're going to break down for you on the slate, and we are going to do it, of course, with three of the finest college basketball handicappers that WagerTalk.com can round up, including Drew Martin in the house. Adam Trigger here, Tony Mejia. Gentlemen, hope the holiday weekend was a profitable one for you. And Drew, I know there's a late night degenerate special on his card somewhere you're going to share with us here, brother. What's going on? How was the weekend?
Hey, Joe, it was good, man. Fun to hang out with friends and family. Hopefully everybody out there, including yourself, had a good Thanksgiving. The Iron Bowl didn't go Auburn's way, so that was a tough one to get over. But hey, college football overtime, like we were just talking, it is what it is. Comes with a basket of could be good, could be bad. But hey, talking about college basketball coming into the mainstream right now, Joe. It's kind of taken over a lot of my time getting into the handicapping of it. So fun. Looking forward to breaking down the games with you, man. Thanks for having me on, Joe.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, Drew. Thank you very much for hanging out with us here today, as well as Adam Trigger, who, listen, Trigger, you got it all off your chest here just before the show starts, which is fantastic. But let's talk about this week, man. Locked and loaded, $9 Monday. Best bets, $9 at Wager Talk. What do you got going on, man?
Yeah, so I actually have my first 5% college basketball play of the year. Coming off a bad day yesterday, but otherwise it's been pretty good. Had a 5% winner on Thanksgiving Day. Yesterday just didn't go my way, but I kind of had this day circled as the day I was really going to start ramping it up in college hoop, because I don't really care. I don't really like betting the MTEs. I think they're sort of a crapshoot. So we kind of get out of those after this weekend. And now we're going to be pretty much, mostly campus games, non-conference play. Each team's gotten a couple weeks under their belt, and then before we know it, we'll be starting conference play through most conferences toward the end of December. So this is kind of the time of year I like to ramp it up with, starting with some of the bigger plays. I got one I love tonight. It's a 5% play. It's just $9 on $9 Monday, and we'll start the week off strong.
Yeah, it's these little mini tournaments that we've been seeing here, Tony Mejia. They're good. They're a great litmus test, right, of things to come here in the season. But conference play is where it's at. We're almost at that particular point, and that's all we'll have here in the month of December. What you got going on here on a $9 Monday heading into this week? You locked and loaded?
So far, I've got to pick in a 4% for college basketball today. It was an awful college basketball week, so I can identify with Adam on in-season tournaments and whatnot, just kicking my ass. So from that standpoint, that was not great. Football was wonderful. And at some aspects, I had a really good Thursday. I did the thing that I did it last month, where it's the end of the month, so I got to get these 5% out. So back to back to back, and I hit them all. I think I did that last month. I did it again this month. With one NBA on Friday. College football was the over in a late game on Saturday, USC BYU. And yesterday I hit with the over, and that was a great one with the Vikings and 49ers going over very early. So I got to kind of break out the rocking chair there. But beyond that, yeah, college basketball really was a damper. NBA was okay, but you know how it goes. It's a marathon. So we're right again. We got the Big Ten-ACC challenge started early with one of these end-season tournaments, because Louisville beat Maryland in Nassau. So, and now we get the rest of the crew to see how it irons out. But yeah, I mean, obviously college basketball is going to step to the forefront. So looking forward to that.
Amen. It is, and it's going to begin here today with the ACC Big Ten Championship. We're going to start here with one team that loves to score and one team that loves to prevent you from scoring. So something is going to give here with Iowa taking on Virginia. Opens up as a 2-point favorite. 133 as a total on this. I'll give you an idea of where that's going here. But listen, Iowa, it's a nice start, 6-0. They score 100 points a game, but you're basically playing YMCA rec league teams. Now you step up here to Virginia, Drew Martin, and it's been a slow go for them. But the one thing we know about Virginia is they're going to play some defense. They're going to make your life miserable. You think they have enough in the tank here to take care of Iowa in this one?
Joe, I thought you set that up real nicely. You know, contrast of styles is putting this one lightly. Big Ten-ACC, yes, but even talking about just tempo-wise, Iowa, one of the fastest teams in the country, guys, whereas Virginia, Tony Bennett coach team, going to look to slow it down, and they're at home, so you'd look for them to have a little bit more success because of that. Now, breaking this down, I think we need to kind of dig into the marketplace in terms of, you know, this opening number, Joe, was Iowa -1.5. And early on in the season, the opening numbers are actually coming from the offshore. But we even saw Westgate in Las Vegas open this 1.5 later yesterday afternoon. Now we're seeing Virginia -2. So almost a 4-point move here towards Virginia, a flip favorite. You bring up the total as well, 133 down to 130. So the, I guess, more respected money here, the larger money, is towards Virginia and the under. I can't really disagree with it, Joe, considering it is at home in Charlottesville. But this Virginia team, a little bit of a tricky handicap, 5-2. They did beat a top 70 team in Providence. And you kind of alluding to what are we getting with the Hawkeyes? Yes, they're 6-0, but they have not beaten a top 200 team yet this season. Therefore, I can't really bet a lot on the Hawkeyes looking to go that route. I would rather take the Virginia side of things, Joe, and maybe look towards the under of the 130. But if you make me bet it, I would be on the Virginia Cavaliers -2, Joe.
Yeah, you know, one of the other problems with Iowa is that they beat up all of their YMCA teams here, Trig, at home. Not they ain't at home in this one. So what do you think? What do you think of Virginia? They not exactly going to light up the scoreboard. We know that, but do they have enough defensive firepower to hold back this Iowa offense?
Yeah. So just to go off of what Drew said, not only that have they not beat a team inside the top 200, but they haven't even played one. I mean, and you alluded to the fact that they also haven't played a game away from home. I mean, they've essentially played 6 small majors with the exception of Western Michigan, who I guess you could consider a mid-major out of the MAC, but they're not even a really great MAC team. So the other thing that's just absolutely ridiculous, if you think about it, they lead the country right now, scoring 97.2 points per game. I mean, that's just an outrageous number. Like, even the best teams each year in college basketball, which Iowa is not, they're certainly not one of the best teams in college basketball this year. I mean, they might average like high 90s. Like, when Gonzaga is really good, you know, get to like December or January, they're averaging, you know, maybe 91, 92 points a game. And even they play in a smaller conference. So just that right there tells me that there's got to be some regression with Iowa. And this kind of makes sense as the spot it would happen as they go on the road and play a team that's really good defensively in Virginia. Now, Virginia's not a team I've really looked to bet on yet this year because they have some real problems offensively. And, you know, if Virginia's not scoring, you know, we kind of saw that when they played Houston. They lost to Navy, which is a terrible loss. Then they could, you know, Iowa could do like the sort of minimum offensively and potentially squeak it out. But Virginia has played teams. You know, they have a nice win over Providence. They did play that game against Houston, even though they got killed. So, and it's at Virginia. So yeah, I would agree with Drew. The way I would look here is Virginia. The move kind of says it all to me. Iowa. This isn't a Iowa team that's the caliber of the last couple Iowa teams. So I think that's like kind of a fraudulent start. That's really because they've played complete, just inferior competition. They'll have a harder time scoring tonight. Yeah, it didn't make my card, but I definitely think Virginia is the right side if you're going to play it.
All right, looking at Virginia. What about you, Tony Mahir? Do you agree with the market move towards Virginia, as well as the number coming down to 130 here?
I do not. I think, while I don't like Iowa at all for the reasons that have been stated, they haven't played anybody. I don't like Virginia, and I'll give you reason number one answer for playing the Family Feud. Their best three-point shooter is Kihei Clark, and we've seen what he has been able to do throughout his career, where he's essentially just the guy that sets people up and plays defense. He's been the point guard on this team. He's the only holdover from the national championship team, and that's his specialty. He's the defensive pest, and yet statistically, he's your best three-point shooter on this Virginia team. So no, I can't trust them, not whatsoever. And Caden Shedrick, I just don't know enough about him. He's 6'11". He's a top shot blocker in this team, but I haven't seen much of him. He's averaging over 3 blocks a game. He's your anchor on the Virginia defense. So the fact that this is a brand new Virginia team, their top 2 scorers are transfers. Amon Franklin from Indiana, Jaden Gardner from ECU. Again, this is like, let's put Virginia on the front of your chest, and we expect you to be a standout defensive team just because you play at Virginia. So yeah, while Tony Bennett's system definitely plays, and we're going to see the pack line and we're going to see slower tempo, I just don't know what to expect from them. And Iowa, absolutely, they blew out Western Michigan. That's the highest rated team they've played. I have seen Longwood. The Lancers are actually decent. But again, this Iowa team, you lost Luka Garza. He's playing with the Pistons now. They lost Wieskamp, who got drafted. I think he's with the Spurs and Austin in their G League team. So this has essentially been Keegan Murray and his brother Chris Murray. McCaffrey's kids are on this team. One of them has missed some time. So you've got 2 sets of brothers on the team, and Jordan Bohannon, who really hasn't gotten it going. And if Jordan Bohannon had gotten it going, this team would be averaging over 100 points a game as it is. They've topped the century mark in 3 of their 6 games. I think they'll be able to push tempo, and I think they can win this game. So I'm not sure if I'm going to play it, but I would definitely, especially now, take the points as opposed to backing Virginia.
All right, there you go, guys. That's game number 1 here we're going to take a look at in this ACC Big Ten Challenge. Let's move on to the second one here, where we've got 2 teams. Notre Dame so far taking on Illinois, 6.5 as a opening number. And I'm seeing, I believe, 4s now. I'm seeing a lot of 4s in the marketplace. I'm also seeing the total come down to 139.5 here. And Trig, listen, it wasn't a fantastic showing by either of these teams in their mini tournaments here. Notre Dame, they got some depth issues going on there. If it don't happen with that front 7 that they have, keep rotating in and out, it just doesn't appear to happen. Reinforcements are back for Illinois, but so what? So soon here. What do you think, man? Do you agree with the move down towards Notre Dame in the marketplace?
So I guess I agree with the move from the perspective that that number was kind of high, but I don't think I agree with it from the standpoint that I would want to be on Notre Dame here. So I was wrong about Illinois. I had this team rated probably way too high coming into this season. But some of that, they were without Kofi Coburn for 3 games. He's back now. They haven't played particularly well since he's been back, but this just feels like kind of a buy low spot on Illinois for me. So even though I do like Notre Dame, I think there's some redeeming qualities in this Notre Dame team. I like Mike Bray as a coach. He's definitely made some changes. He's kind of gotten Notre Dame to slow it down and play. They're starting to take characteristics from Virginia a little bit, the way that he wants to defend. But we kind of saw what happens when they get out of sorts and get out of that in the second half against Texas A&M. I mean, they just were all. It was just all over the place. It was really bad. So this just this feels like a buy low spot in Illinois to me. I think, again, I probably had this team rated way too high, but the number's 4 now, and I think if just for this game at that number, I think that's too low. I think the market's a little bit over adjusted on Illinois, probably because They barely got by Kansas State and Rio Grande Valley, and they've got an ugly loss to Cincinnati in the past few games. I don't know that I'm dying to get involved with Illinois in their current state, but if I had to bet this, and now that the number is what it is, I definitely think there's some value laying the floor with Illinois.
All right. Thinks a buy low spot here on Illinois. What do you think, Tony Mejia? Is it a buy low opportunity here?
It is. And, because people take time out of their days to watch this show and it's $9 Monday, I'll save you $9. This is my 4% play, specifically because this is a value spot on the Illini, who have looked terrible. And Kofi Coburn came back in that game where everybody expected them to go out and beat Cincinnati because he was back and they lost by 20. And it didn't look good at all. And they had that game against Marquette that Andre Curbelo just threw away, almost literally. Turnover here, bad shot there. Looked just his decision-making, which is supposed to be an asset, just completely went off the rails. But this is a team that oozes talent. It's a great team in terms of college basketball with the depth that they have. Trent Frazier, who's been there since 1984. Jacob Grandison, a kid that can really play. Alfonso Plummer, who's come over from Utah to try to eat up some of Ayo Dosunmu's minutes now that he's with the Bulls. Coburn, probably the top 3 big man in all of college basketball. He's already averaging 26 and 10 in the 3 games that they have played. And after the Cincinnati game, they didn't cover in either game against Kansas State or Rio Grande Valley, but they won them. So I think that there is a value going forward in this team figuring things out and getting Curbelo under control to where he's one of the better point guards in the Big Ten. And the other part of the equation is how much I dislike this Notre Dame team and how much regression there's been. The fact that Mike Bray hasn't made the tournament, and I think it's 3 years going on 4, but it might be 4 years going on 5 because I don't see this as a tournament team. Their big weapon this year is Paul Atkinson, who comes over from Yale. He's going to be the primary go-to guy in the paint. Pretty good big man, but in the ACC, if that's your go-to guy, you have serious problems. And actually, the most promising player is a kid from South Bend, Blake Wesley, who's a freshman. And I think they should build a program around him going forward, and they might have to once February rolls around and they're not even playing for an NIT. The other guys that they have on their roster have been there for a while. Dan Goodwin, Corbin Ryan, Leshevsky. And again, these guys haven't won anything. And I gave them the benefit of the doubt against St. Mary's. I liked them in that game because I don't think much of St. Mary's either. And had a chance to win that game. O2 made a big shot late, and the Gales won. Then they beat Chaminade as they should have and come back and blow it against Texas A&M. And I was on the A&M side with that. And A&M is entirely new because Buzz Williams is building around transfers. So the fact that Buzz Williams can beat you with his transfers and you've got this core that is established for years and hasn't done anything, leads me to really want nothing to do with Notre Dame. Bargain rate here, Illinois, and I'll lay the floor.
Yeah, taking shots at the Ivy League Player of the Year from like 12 years ago. Drew, talk to me here. What do you think? Because there are some questions. There are a lot of guys not going in this game. Some guys sick. Some guys having injury. There's, I think, 3 guards already down for Illinois, which might coincide with this move from a 6.5 down to 4. Any interest in Notre Dame at all in this one?
Sure, Joe. A little bit sidewise. I think both Adam and Tony bring up good points and also interesting points in terms of like pricing on Illinois. Buy point. Is it buy low? What are we really getting here with the Illini? You bring up the fact of who's actually playing in the game. Also, Illinois, coming into this as this season, they were Big Ten champions. A lot was expected out of the Illini. So from a pricing point, I was thinking they were kind of expensive coming into the season. And sure enough, we've seen that, like Tony just talked about, them not covering some games, them dropping some games already this season. And it's a team where their profile, Joe, offensive turnovers, they turn it over a lot. Their free throw shooting is under 70%. So it's not necessarily a profile I'm looking to bet on. Notre Dame on the other side of it, 3-2, and they've beaten absolutely nobody. Their losses against the mid-tier SEC team and St. Mary's, which I look at it like Tony, it was more of a close game. Give them the benefit of the doubt there. although this is their first true road game. So like we talked about with Iowa, that's not necessarily a spot I'm looking to buy on. And to Tony and Adam's point of buy low on Illinois, this is a 6 point or a couple of point move off of the opener, like you talked about, Joe. Ken Palm put it at 6. We're seeing 4 now. So it actually might be a buy low sidewise. Where I would actually look at this, though, Joe, is towards the total, 138.5. I think Illinois actually turning it over a bunch. I don't see them fixing that overnight. And the fact that neither team is really going to go slow here, Illinois, kind of an up-tempo team, at 138.5, I could see this moving over. Plus the fact it's in the foul fest range. If it does become a foul fest, we'll get the amount of possessions late. I think Illinois playing multiple games, over 70 possessions, some of them even over 75 possessions. It's going to speak tonight to an up-tempo contest. So I'll actually take the over of 138.5 tonight, Joe.
All right, expecting it to go over here in that one tonight. Illinois taking on Notre Dame. And we've got one other game outside of that tournament we're going to take a look at. And we're going to look at the Oregon Ducks taking on the Grizz of Montana. And let me be the first to ask here. 12.5 is the number, 135.5 as a total. And I'm seeing 13s, and I'm seeing 131. So the totals come down, a lot of Oregon love, but Tony Mejia, call me crazy here. Should Oregon be a 13-point favorite with the way they've been playing over anybody right now? I get it, right? I get it. But 13 points over Montana, what do you think?
Hopefully there's some magic in that turkey that they only, because this Oregon team, Dana Altman, top 10 coach in America. Without doubt, he's got to be pulling his nice set of hair out because of I can't imagine he's lost to teams by 32 and 29 within the same week. That's what happened last week, last 2 weeks. BYU and Houston, they lost by a dozen to that St. Mary's team. And again, all this happened in Vegas at the Maui, because the Maui couldn't be played in Hawaii. And I'm sure Altman has had a ton of success in Vegas, at Oregon, winning Pac-12 championships, and he's got to be beside himself with this particular team that he has, because he's really bought into the transfer circuit over the past 3-4 years, recycling guys and really getting the most out of them. But it is a process; it does take months. And the team that he has this year, entirely built on transfers. His leading scorer is Eric Williams. He's got Jacob Young, came over from Rutgers, Davion Harmon from Oklahoma, and I assume he's going to figure things out. But for now, if you can't lose by 32 and 28 unless you're really bad and you quit on games. And both things have transpired for Oregon. So to answer your question, no, absolutely not. Oregon shouldn't be favored by 13. We'll see how good Montana is, and if they're able to take advantage. It's a team whose top 3 scorers are sophomores, and they've got some talent, but the opportunity is knocking. We'll see if they answer it.
At what point here, Drew, do we look at this Oregon team? Do we stop giving Dana Altman the benefit of the doubt, going, oh, he's just bringing them along slow. He doesn't really care to win games until that. Good God, it's been awful, man. So 13 points, are you buying?
You know what? Sidewise, I might, Joe. I think that there's a huge question to be answered there. You bring it up. Altman, are we going to keep giving him the benefit of the doubt? 3 losses. What, Joe? They scored under 50 points or 50 or less points in each of their last 2 games. So can you trust them offensively to cover doubles here? I know they're coming back home, but they're coming back from Vegas. Let's be serious here. Both bottom 100 tempo teams. Montana, number 1 in terms of offensive turnover percentage here. So they're not going to turn the ball over a lot. I think that speaks towards longer possessions here, and neither team kind of running up tempo. That's what leans me towards the under. I actually like it. I bet it personally, the under. But sidewise, I think I'm with you, Joe. It'd be the dog or pass for me.
All right. And listen, if anybody's going to back Montana, it's gonna be Trig, man. Talk to me, Trig. Do they have enough, this Grizz team, to cover this number, if not pull out the upset?
All right, so I'm gonna go Teddy Cover style right here and read a quote. Okay.
Oh yes.
I never do this, but I got a quote, and I'm going to read it right here. This is from Dana Altman. He said, "We have a long ways to go. How we've regressed in the last 2 weeks just shocks me. It's going to be a long road back. We've buried ourselves the last 2 weeks. It's going to take a tremendous effort to try and get it back." Now, I am going to give Dana Altman a benefit of the doubt because I think he's one of the best coaches in college basketball. The question is he going to be able to get it back in 5 days since they got buried by Houston? Now, Montana, if this was a different spot, I would probably have a best bet on Montana because I like Travis DeCuire. And actually, Montana was one of the unluckiest teams in college basketball last year. They probably had like 6 1-point losses that they lost on literally the final play of the game. And they have talent. They are young, but they essentially, this team as a young team all got to play last year. And so even though they have some younger guys, they're younger guys that got pretty key experience. So basically everyone's back. Thing that concerns me with Montana is kind of the step up. Oregon's still a step up from the teams they've been beating. And in the one step up they've had so far this year, they got buried by Mississippi State. So that's a concern. However, Montana tends to get up for these games against the Pac-12 teams. I think they had a really good showing against Arizona last year. I want to say they won at Washington. So I like Montana getting the points. The reason I didn't add it to my card is it's just like it feels like Oregon's just at the low point of all low points right now after the way that tournament went and getting embarrassed by Houston. So if Oregon does figure it out, and they certainly have the talent on the roster to do so, I could really just see them going to town and not letting up, which could cover them the number. So I definitely have a strong lean to Montana here. It's definitely way too many points, but just the spot here makes me not fully want to jump in with Montana, only because Dana Altman will figure it out. If he's got it figured out within this last 5 days since their loss to Houston, they will probably cover the number, and I could see them not letting up. So too many points. I lean Montana, but I have other reasons for not making this a big bet.
All right, good stuff there, guys. Should be 3 real interesting games here. It's a nice slate of college hoops here tonight. It is also $9 Monday, which gives you guys an opportunity to head over to Drew's page, Adam Trigger's page, Tony Mejia's page, grab their best bets, just $9 here tonight at WagerTalk.com. Let's talk some best bets here, though. Drew, plenty of action on the card here tonight. Is there a game that you have circled you like a little more than the others?
Absolutely, Joe. Montana and Oregon, total of 131. Talked about it briefly here. Montana not turning the ball over offensively. Oregon, 50 or less points in each of their last 2 games. I think that speaks to offense not being at the forefront here. A defensive battle. Oregon just getting back from Vegas. Montana not turning it over. Longer possessions, guys. I see under 131 tonight, Joe. That's my best bet for the show. Also got the $9 play on Monday Night Football, WagerTalk.com.
Love it. All right, loaded card here tonight. Trig, talk to us here, man. It ain't going to be Montana. So what's the game that you have circled here tonight?
Yeah, so best bet for the show of the ones we talked about is going to be Virginia. I would, first of all, I know the move is sharp. Okay, I know it's sharp money that's moved that number to where it is, so you can take that for what it is. I've watched this Iowa team for years, like every game. So Fran McCaffrey was the coach at Siena when I was there, and the 2 McCaffrey boys used to play on the hoop outside of our house. So I'm like an Iowa fan because of that. But there's going to be regression with this Iowa team. You could pretty much throw their numbers out the window right now because they have yet to play a competitive game. And even the good Iowa teams from the last, 5 years when they've been really good have not traveled particularly well. And now they're leaving Iowa for the first time this year, and they're going to have to go deal with a team that is going to just defend them as tight as they've been defended all season for 40 minutes. They're going to have to deal with that being on the road. A lot of Iowa's offense is predicated by shooting the ball. They're going to have to shoot the ball in a different gym than they've been in all year. So I can see why the sharp money has come in on Virginia. Personally, if you want to play it, I would money line it. I wouldn't lay the 2 because I never really like laying 2 in a basketball game when you can just shop around and usually find like a minus 135 money line. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely sharp money on Virginia. I do agree with it. I have my reservations about Virginia, but I kind of think Virginia's the right side there, and that's the way I would bet that game.
I love it. A classic. Does defense take down the high-powered offense in college hoops? We're going to find out. Tony Bennett's made a name for himself doing just that over time. Virginia tonight for Trig. And Tony Mejia, I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but give it to us once again, man. What's going on with your best bet?
Oh, all right. Well, my best bet is Illinois over, winning their game against Notre Dame. Really like that. I told you I gave it out. Yes, certainly Brad Underwood has no idea who's going to play tonight out of the guys that are flu-ridden right now. And Corbello doesn't have the flu, but he's got a neck issue. Hopefully a couple of these guys show up and play, but they did beat UTRGV without them the other night. I think Alfonso Plummer, DeMonte Williams, Coleman Hawkins, Kofi Coburn are enough to beat Notre Dame. So I'm going to lay that. And then my best bet for our purposes, because that is my bet. I like that game better than this one. Let's talk about Tulsa and Oral Roberts. Roberts just took Oklahoma State to the brink. Were you aware of that game?
Yeah. This is going to go one of 2 ways. You and I are either going to agree with this best bet or we're going to go on opposite sides. So go ahead. What do you got?
All right. So, yeah, I mean, look, Oral Roberts hung with Oklahoma State, lost by 1 in OT. And now they're playing Tulsa in their own gym. If nobody knows where Oral Roberts is, it's in Tulsa. So this is a city game. And it'll be fun to watch. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, if you're Tulsa and you're watching Max Abmas rise to prominence as a nation's leading scorer, you're watching this team go to the Sweet 16 and become a national darling, and you're watching them come off taking Oklahoma State to the brink, you're chomping at the bit to get at them. And they own this series. They've won the last 4 games. Schools didn't play last year due to COVID. Tulsa's got a lot of talent. They're well coached. I think they'll win this game. They're getting a bucket, and you're only getting a bucket at Oral Roberts, despite the fact, I mean, that screams to me, hey, public, come spend all your money on Oral Roberts. You're only laying 2. You've seen this. Look, it's a little cute guy, Max Abmas. Nobody can say his name because it's spelled Abmas. But you remember him. He shoots from about 40 feet out. Go ahead and lay just 2 points, and you'll beat Tulsa. And I don't think it's going to happen. I'm taking Tulsa plus 2. Kevin Obanor transferred to Texas Tech, so it's not quite the same Oral Roberts team. I think they're ripe for the slight upset. Give me Tulsa plus 2.
So disappointed in you. Should have stuck with Illinois because the best player on the court plays for Oral Roberts. He'll either drop 50 on Tulsa or they'll send everybody at him, and guess what? Everybody else will score 30 on him. Don't buy it. Can't defend the pick and roll. It's exactly what Oral Roberts does better than anybody. Give them to me. They're going to wash that disgust out of their mouth with the loss to Oklahoma State by beating up on Tulsa here tonight. So I'll take Oral Roberts. He'll take Tulsa. What a battle this is going to be. But the kid he is phenomenal. That's for sure. And
we'll
we
talk
have a
on
goal.
Twitter later.
Yeah, exactly. And our friends from Gold Sheet, they too like Illinois is where our friends from the Gold Sheet are going tonight in agreement with Tony Mejia. So make sure you guys check out the full write-up. All the write-ups, in fact, from the Gold Sheet. Fantastic stuff. Great source for handicapping, guys. And these plays are always posted on the Wager Talk Twitter page. If you want to read the full write-up, good stuff there, guys. Head on over at Wager Talk on Twitter. So to recap, here's what we got going on. Best bets. Drew Martin taking Montana, Oregon tonight under the 131. Trig says lay it with Virginia, laying the 2 there. Tony Mejia, he's going to take the 2 with Tulsa. I'm going to lay the 2 with Oral Roberts. And the Gold Sheet, they're back in Illinois, laying the 4 here tonight in that game. So, guys, it should be a very interesting college basketball evening. It should also be a hell of a college basketball tip-off show tomorrow, depending on the results here. But make sure you guys head over to WagerTalk.com. It is $9 Monday, which means All best bets, just $9. You heard Drew tell you a little earlier. Locked and loaded, Monday Night Football there. Of course, Trig's ready to go. And so is Tony Mejia. $9, guys. Head on over to WagerTalk.com. And on behalf of Drew Martin and Adam Trigger, of course, Tony Mejia, guys, we appreciate the time. Hit the bell in the upper right-hand corner, and then come back and join us again tomorrow. More college hoops coming your way on the College Basketball Tip-Off Show. In the meantime, best of luck with your plays, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.